In every role, you leave a mark, a shining star in the cinematic arc.
How sweet. You've written this? That is beautiful. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Losing control, feeling my flow. I'm ready to go.
What are you particular about? Like what drives
But
you
like
up to
I
that?
need my parting to be straight when my hairstyle is, and it's a thing between us. He's like, just take it out yourself. Because yeah, there are small things. I can be very particular about my eyebrows. My mother has always had this dream of हमारे घर में एक garden है और हम उस garden में बैठकर चाय पी रहे हैं. So I want to buy that घर जिसमें garden है. Be it the national award or be it anything else, somewhere there was a sense of calm after that, where I felt like, okay, now I don't have to prove myself to people. I think they kind of know that I can act well.
Losing control, feeling my flow. I'm ready to go.
Hello. Hi everyone. So happy to see all of you out here. And we've got an exciting evening ahead. Our guest tonight wears many, many hats. So she is a national award-winning actor. She's also an A-list star. She's also a producer and she's also an entrepreneur. Please put your hands together for the lovely Kriti Sanon.
I will meet you again. Hi everyone. Love you guys. And actually, before we start this interview, I have a little surprise under your seats to kind of fizz up this interview. So I hope you guys enjoy that. Thank you. Most welcome.
And you've got a few people up there.
Yeah, I can't see, these lights are blinding. ये तो ऐसे couples बैठे हैं लग रहे हैं. हाँ? Couples ही बैठे हैं ऐसे. दो के पैर में ऐसे खोपचे में.
Kriti, it's so lovely to have you on FC Front Row.
Thank you. It's been a while.
It's been a while.
The last one that we did actually was on Zoom.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So technically, this is my first front row with genuine audience in front of me.
Yes. And guys, we need another round of applause because it's year 10 for you.
It is, yes.
Okay, 10 years in Hindi cinema. Well done.
Thank you.
Well done. So a couple of days ago, I was listening to a podcast, the Tim Ferriss podcast, and he asked Reed Hastings, what is your favorite failure? And I thought that was such a great question that I'm going to steal it. Because so often actors say that they learn more from failure than from success.
Yeah.
Right? So, Kriti, in these 10 years, is there a favorite failure and what did it teach you?
Oh my God. I think I have to say my favorite failure, even though I don't like calling it a failure because for me it wasn't, is Rapta. As much as Dinu might kill me, but I feel just that film in general, I feel like made me grow a lot as an actor. It was my third film in the Hindi film industry, and it was probably the first time that I was getting so much meat as an actor. It had two characters for me. It was just very layered for the first time. I was prepping a lot for a role for the very, very first time. I learned a lot of things. I learned horse riding. I have phobia of being underwater, which actually I thought I got over it for the film because I actually had underwater scenes. And for that period, I did get over it. So it's kind of come back, but I did get over it for that period, which was a big deal. I learned chocolate making, so many things. And just as an actor, I feel like I grew with the way I started thinking about the character. with the way I started saying my dialogues. You know, it became a lot more organic, a lot more real. There was so much learning on the set. And of course, that film just has a lot of memories for me, a lot of really happy memories that always will be very, very special. So in many, many ways, that film taught me a lot. I don't think I would have performed the way I did in, say, a Bareilly, which worked at the box office, had I not gone through Rabta. You know, and I really feel like, I genuinely feel I really gained a lot as an actor, as a human being. I think I opened up as a human being. For me, when I came into the industry, I've lived in a very protected environment and I was very black and white. You know, I didn't really understand the gray. I didn't really understand कि अच्छा ऐसा opinion भी हो सकता है. अच्छा ऐसी लड़की भी हो सकती है जो बोले कि यार एक बार try करें क्या किसी और के साथ ये feeling आती है या नहीं आती है, which was bizarre for me. You know, she was talking to her parents in the mirror, you know, things like that. Someone who's gone through, someone who has baggage. I didn't understand that. So I think, yeah, that definitely has to be my favorite so-called failure.
Nice, nice. So in a sense, Kriti, then, you know, and this is an important lesson for everyone, right? That even a failure is not a failure in that sense.
Oh, it teaches you way more.
Yeah.
It teaches you way more than sometimes your successes do,
Yeah.
you know, and whether it is the process of it, whether it is something that you feel like, okay, this doesn't work for me, or, you know, I didn't enjoy this process. Even
you get
that,
to know yourself.
yeah, even that you get to know when you realize that, okay, this wasn't a good decision, you know, so many things, and you're clearer in your mind then,
Yeah.
post that.
Well, let's talk about success.
Better.
Let's talk about year 10, starting off with Teri Baaton Mein Aisa, Uljha, Jiya, and of course, Crew.
Yes.
I mean, you know, those are big, big ones.
Thank you.
You know, I have to tell you that the climax of Teri Baaton was like my favorite part of the film. Okay? It was just, you were so funny and so frightening. And that thing you were doing with your head was just, was just perfect. And I wonder, Kriti, what was it like to actually do it? Because you were going rogue, not just as a character, not just as a malfunctioning robot, but also in a sense as a Hindi film heroine. Because how often do Bollywood heroines get to do stuff like that?
Yeah, not very often.
Not often. What did that feel like?
I mean, firstly, I don't think, you know, sometimes people, I don't know why they don't write so much comedy for women. Sometimes people feel like, oh, you know, for doing comedy, you need to kind of laugh at yourself. You need to kind of be comfortable, not looking good, and making faces and stuff like that. And I think the idea's been for a while that, oh, women should look elegant and, you know, very like poised and everything. And I think I mean, a lot of people have broken it in the past, and I'm glad that I got an opportunity like that because I love comedy. Like, I think comedy is something which I just like putting in every normal scene also because it's there in life, you know, and that particular part is actually my favorite also, I would say, because as an actor, when I was playing Sifra in the rest of the film, because she's so perfect and she's so correct and the way she walks is really perfect. Even if she opens a door, she will open it in a rhythm. Her blink is almost in a rhythm. Her turns are not jerky. There's nothing. She's like this. She doesn't have highs and lows and everything. So as an actor, I had Shahid Kapoor in front of me, who's a fabulous actor. And you feel like flowing, you know, you feel like if the other person does an improv, you feel like doing something and returning, you know, some dialogue or doing something, and I couldn't. And I felt so tired. And, you know, he got annoyed because I used to say it constantly. I was like, oh my God, you know, I wish I could do more. You're getting to do so much. And he was like, I can't believe you're playing the robot in this film and you're saying no, you're not getting to do much. But I felt almost weirdly suffocated in her body because I couldn't, like, when I'm talking to you, I'm moving my hand so much, I couldn't move it.
Yeah.
You know, those were things that I applied. Like when Sifra spoke to someone, she would gaze and she would not break her gaze, as opposed to human beings who are like looking around and sort of thinking and processing. She's processing really fast. And I was not blinking while I was talking. So few things that I added only made me feel like really tied down and suffocated almost. And when the climax came, I felt like a khulla sand who could just do whatever she wanted. And nobody will question why am I doing what I'm doing. I am malfunctioning. That's it. I can do what the hell I want. And on the script actually they had written it in a, she talks fast and she talks slow. But that was it. The twitches and the body and
That was all you?
yeah, I mean, we discussed, obviously, I discussed with the directors, but my idea was that if she's malfunctioning, let's go all out, let's just like go all out and everything that can go wrong. And we added these body twitches randomly. And, her getting stuck also was a thing that we sort of added, and it became much fuller. And it just felt liberating. And I remember when I was shooting the climax sequence, I was like, now I'm feeling like I'm shooting a film. Like now I'm really feeling like fully alive, in a way, weirdly alive. That portion was my favorite because I've been a die-hard Madhuri fan. And I was like, oh God, this is my moment. I was like, and Jaisalmer mein the hum log, thand thi wahan par. But because us gaane mein storm fan chal raha hai, so I was like, her hair are flying, my hair has to fly. And everybody, I'm assuming all the other actors on set, all the background people who were there, all the extras, they must be really abusing me because I have put full-on storm fan for hours when I was shooting that in this much of lehenga choli.
Correct?
Yeah, and I had a blast.
You look like you were having a
I
great
did have a
time.
blast. That was my moment. I was like, मैं बचपन में देखती थी ये,
Yeah.
and to get to do that on screen,
Yeah, yeah.
big deal.
But you also talked about Mimi as being the film that actually changed you in terms of your process, right? Specifically, you
Yeah.
said there's the one scene where she's in front of the mirror and she's just devastated, and then you scream and tearing off the posters, and you said that when you did that, you couldn't stop crying,
Yeah.
and that's never happened to you before.
No.
So how did that change you as an actor?
I think just the fact, see, actually, I've not been a trained actor. I've not like done theater or anything before. Everything that I know has been on the job. So I've figured my process and what works for me, what doesn't work for me on the job. And sometimes I tried things and it happened, and sometimes I tried things, it didn't happen. So I've always been very open to trying new things. But many times I had tried sort of, I just had a fight, say, in the vanity van with someone on the phone, came back on set, and I've cried in the vanity, and I've come back on set. Now there's a crying scene. I've tried to get that back. It didn't. That particular day, I again sort of gave it a shot, and I was psyching myself with certain memories, emotional memories, which kind of always used to really hit me hard. And I felt it, and then when I went till the set, it went away. But I realized that when I screamed, it came up. So, sometimes you gotta also play a little bit with your subconscious, which, sometimes you think about and you think it's not working. But when I screamed, it came up. So that day I kind of realized that, okay, mere saath bhi ye ho sakta hai. I used to only hear of, actors just being on set and crying and not stopping after cut.
Yeah.
And I was like, I can't be that. So I think it just opened me up to the possibility of anything can happen. So never stop trying and never, sort of bind your process and say, yehi hota hai mere saath, ya main aise hi kaam karti hu. Always keep trying something new because sometimes magic happens.
And do you, depending on the film, depending on the character, and obviously the level of intensity required, will you kind of custom make your process to the role?
It depends. I have this one thing which I always like doing, that if the character does have a certain body language, then every time that I walk from the vanity to the set, I get in that body language because it just makes me feel like I'm getting into the character. But it depends. Certain characters require more prep emotionally. In that also, there are certain scenes that are like just emotionally heavy. And you need to find how you're going to get to that scene. So And you can also get repetitive when it comes to crying scenes.
Yeah.
You know, because you can also start crying the same way and then somehow become mechanical. So you have to find what can you see in yourself, you know, that you see in the character. Like if the character has a damage or a trauma, maybe go back to what makes you feel that way, or how do you relate to the character? What is the similarity? There always will be some similarity. So those things I do try when it comes to heavy scenes. But other than that, I think just finding the body language, finding where the character is coming from, sometimes cooking up a backstory that only you know, nobody ever will know. So those things sometimes help.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think my process kind of is a little vague, but I try and just go through the script too many times to find things in it that can help me. Like in Teri Baaton mein, I remember I read the script so many times, and there was this one portion where she, Dimple ma'am says, Shahid says, "ये upset क्यों लग रही है?" So she says, "क्योंकि तुम upset हो." You know, and it kind of, that one line made me feel, oh, is she mirroring the admin's feelings? You know, that, okay, if the admin is happy, so she's happy. If he's sad, so she's sad. So after that, I started actually mirroring what Shahid would be feeling. If he is happy in a scene, I would smile. You know, if he's a little upset, I would go like, oh, what happened? You know, like that.
So it clicked into place with that line.
With that, yeah.
Nice.
I mean, it just gave me something to
hold on to.
Hold on to, yeah.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
you know, some process. And because she's a robot who's a humanoid, like how to understand her.
Correct.
You know, so that gave me one insight about her. So I think when you keep reading the script also, it kind of gives you a lot.
So are you, after 10 years, Kriti, are you at a point where you can do takes in exactly the same way? You know how some actors can do like the 6th take the same as the first, but some actors like Rishi Kapoor, who was one of the greatest ever, he was like first 2 takes and that's it. Like everything is out there. I can't be just doing the same thing again and again and again.
No,
How does it work for you?
after 5-6 takes even, I tend to get mechanical. My best takes are between like first 3-4, usually, unless and until the director has a completely different, you know, view for that. And then, you know, someone changes something and says, "Acha, abhi aise karke dekho." That's still fine. But if you're doing the same thing, sometimes it gets exhausting, especially like all the emotional scenes, I always prefer that they take the close-up, because the magic that you get in the first few takes doesn't happen when you've cried 5-6 times. You know, so yeah, for me also, like, there are so many times I've worked with certain actors who need time to warm up. So actually for them, the 10th take is nicer.
So your tempo is
So
exactly opposite.
then I've been blessed with intelligent directors who have been like, iska pehle lete hain OS, phir udhar aayenge. So usually that works for me.
Okay, this question I want to ask, because now you're a producer as well.
Yeah.
Right? So at some point this year, I was sent the end credits for a film, big, massive film with a massive ace-list superstar, male. And the end credits included, Kriti, in his entourage, 2 cooks and 1 chef. Okay, so that was 3 people cooking for 1 man.
2 cooks.
2 cooks.
And 1 chef.
And 1 chef. Okay,
Okay.
really strange. Part of the end credits, I'm assuming obviously being paid for by the producer, right? And I was like, why not put this money into the writer's kitty so that you get a better script,
Yeah.
right? It's just expense that doesn't show on the screen.
Yeah.
And obviously, you cannot be, you're not accountable for how the film industry functions, but you are a producer now. And do you have a sense of how, you know, there's been so much hand wringing over the last couple of months about films not doing well and actors' fees and all the rest of it. How do actors and producers sort of come to a point where you can deal with things like this in an intelligent way rather than just wasteful expenditure?
See, I think obviously, I mean, I don't know which film you're talking about. Whichever it is, those are too many. Those are too many cooks in general. But otherwise, I feel like I've seen when, you know, you have a film where you need to make a certain kind of a body for that particular role. you know, and then obviously from the actor, a lot of effort goes in
Sure.
to achieving that, but the expenses then, rightly so, the producer takes care of. But yeah, of course, those are too many. So you have to understand what is needed and what is luxury, you know. And I think the producers have to take a call there, very honestly.
You don't think the entourage situation is just out of control?
I mean, I can't really say that because I feel, yes, hair, makeup, costume
Well, those are
is
essentials.
extremely important. Now, obviously, those people also end up having their assistants because of the kind of work there is. And yeah, apart from that, I feel like a trainer or a certain nutritionist or whatever, depending on the role. In my case, there have been many situations where my body is of no concern to the producer or the director. So if I'm training and I'm taking a trainer, I pay myself. So I think you have to kind of balance what is needed for the film and what is not. It can't be unnecessary spend.
Yeah. You know that line in Teri Baaton when he says, Tere tante nahi hai. Is that true for you as well, Kriti, that you don't have the nakhras?
Me, as a person, you should ask Shahid that. I'm sure he would deny this. But I don't know what you call nakhras, yeah. I think, I mean, thoda bahut, I can also sometimes have my days where I'm PMSing, or I can have some days when I'm like really particular about something.
What are you particular about? Like what drives
But
you
like
up to
I
that?
need my parting to be straight when my hairstylist, and it's a thing between us. He's like, just take it out yourself. Because yeah, there are small things. I can be very particular about my eyebrows. So those are very small things. But yes, when I'm shooting, when I'm on set, once I start rolling, I don't like touch up. I'm like, mat karo. Jab tak kuch bahut hi kharab nahi lag raha hai, don't come and touch me up, because I don't really then believe in, okay, how am I looking? Is this looking nice or not? I think then I'm more concerned about the performance and the feel of the character. But yeah, sometimes when we're discussing scenes and all, I am a strong-minded person, and I do have a point of view on most things. So those can be my tantas and my nakhras, maybe.
You know, about 7, 8 years ago, Sonam had said in an interview on Film Companion that when Riya was trying to raise money for Veeredi wedding, she couldn't get the budget she wanted. So Sonam ended up taking a pay cut. Kareena had to take a pay cut. And, you know, she was very frank. She was like, it's just a patriarchal system and it's disgusting. And, you know, if two heroes of the same level in terms of star power went out, they got bigger budgets, but we can't get it because it's a female-led film. How much has changed between that and Crew?
Not much.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Something very similar also happened. Obviously, I don't want to go into the detail because it's not my place to say. But I do still feel like when there is a film on women, people are still scared to put in the amount of money that they would have for the same story had it been
Men.
Yeah. And for example, this film is not like a serious film. It's a comedy film. It's an entertaining, massy film, you know. So sometimes I think we've discussed this in other interviews also, how I feel that the same films don't get the kind of scale because people are sort of apprehensive, scared to take the risk that, you know, are these films going to get the money back or not? Are they going to pull in the same amount of audience or not? And when you see the budget going in, you know, male-centric film, that's insane. And the difference is huge. And the difference in payment also, right now, currently also is huge, you know, for actually no reason. Sometimes no reason. Like sometimes you just feel like it's not like that person has given a hit in the last so many years, but why is the gap 10 times? You know, so
Do you ask?
I mean, to ask who?
Do you ask the producer?
The problem is that even the producers, what they say is the recovery. Like a lot of the recovery actually happens with the digital satellite deals, which sort of happen before the film actually releases, before it kind of takes off. So to get that kind of budget for digital and satellite, because on digital and satellite, certain male-centric films actually do very well as compared to a film on a girl. So I think it is that difference. I'm hoping that it eventually changes. I'm hoping that people put in that much money in the film, whether it is, a crew that's made money. It's on 3 women. When I went to the theater, for me to see it house full, like till the second row, I was like, wow, it made my day. Like, I was like, this is a good change. This means it doesn't matter if it's a guy or a girl in the film. It's the story and what the film says or how entertaining it's seeming is what pulls the audience. So once that starts happening, I'm hoping this balance kind of gets somewhere in place.
Yeah. What kind of a producer are you? Are you like...
I'm a learning producer right now. Yeah. Genuinely, I feel like, yes, I have turned a producer and I'm going to try and get more films that I would love to make, to also produce them. Support stories that I feel should be made. Be more involved creatively other than just being an actor on set. And hopefully tomorrow also produce films where I'm not the actor at all. But it is a learning thing for me. I like being a newcomer in some field once in a while. I feel, I like that I have learned everything as an actor on the job. And now it felt like I wanted to shift the gear and I wanted to also learn other aspects of it. So obviously, Dopati is my first. But there's a long way. I need to learn a lot.
But let's say on Dopati,
Yes.
Kriti, would you be the producer who knows, like at the end of the shoot, and you're also in it, so that's a tough balancing act. But
Yeah.
would you know that, okay, mota, this cost this cost that, or are you more a creative producer and is someone else doing the number crunch?
So I believe the budget can only be handled by one production. You can't like have 2 people getting into the same thing. So I'm co-producing this with Katha, which is Kanika.
So they handle the budget.
So Kanika, because obviously in this film, I'm also the actor and it's one of my most challenging parts. So for me to be physically managing all of that was absolutely impossible. Kanika is the one who kind of, the budget show is what she ran. And I was very much creatively involved in every other aspect. So I enjoyed the whole creative side without having the stress of the budget. But yes, if anything would happen or something, we would sort of discuss and figure a way out. I also sort of ended up shooting for 17, 18 hours sometimes because I was like, oh, no. We have to finish this day because we don't have this set anymore and stuff like that. So the producer side of me woke up at times where I realized that, my God, how much stress would producers be having when as an actor, you're like, 12 hours is 12 hours usually.
Yeah.
So yeah, so those little things I did learn. There was a lot of learning on the job in general of, just the planning of it and just how complicated can things get. And sometimes, like we were supposed to shoot in Manali and there were landslides in Manali and that whole thing got like really, we had to cancel that whole thing and move somewhere else. So obviously it was nice to sort of see the other side of it. I'll be nicer as an actor now.
Are you a better behaved actor?
I've always been well behaved, but yeah, I understand all these things way better now.
So just putting it out there to producers, they can ask you to stretch it.
No, not at all. Please, when you say that, it's gone. It's gone for hours. You're not Mashi. I'm not Sifra. I'm Kriti, genuinely.
But you are, Kriti, you've said very hands-on as an entrepreneur, right?
Yes.
You talked about your skincare line, Hyphen, and that you are obsessed with skincare and you're doing a lot of like, just that, you want to get into it, right? And women often get asked about this work-life balance, but for me, I'm more interested in the work-work balance because when you do so many things, what is a priority?
Obviously, when I'm acting and I'm on set, I'm fully there. I can't like, of course, if it's a light scene going on and I receive a message, I would sort of respond to it. Of sometimes, they want to come and show me some packaging. They'll come in the sort of break or whatever. But I think when it comes from passion, you don't feel like it's work. Like I'm genuinely obsessed in my free time while I'm traveling. I'm Googling ingredients. I'm Googling what is trending, what products are working, what people are liking, what they're not. I am replying to certain DMs and stuff on Hyphen's side because I'm also the chief customer officer. So I'm also interacting with the customers.
You're the chief customer officer.
Yes. Of Hyphen.
And you respond yourself.
Absolutely. Because I feel like I need to I sometimes take random videos and I put up on my Instagram asking them what do they want. Because the idea is to make products that people are looking for, that people feel like are not there in the market or that they would want to have. So yeah, I keep having these interactions on and off. When I go back home after a day of work, my team at Hyphen always receives messages between 11 to 1. It's always there, like, I don't know why, रात को हमारा phone बजना चालू हो जाता है, because I'm done with my shoot and that's when I start responding to everything. If I found some ingredient that I feel we can hyphen somewhere, or if they send me testers, so I'm sort of in my night I'm sort of trying all the testers and seeing what is working, what is not. So they get series of messages. So yeah, I think I love doing it, which is why it doesn't feel hectic. I'm sometimes shooting somewhere else and I get the sample sent to me, wherever I am, try it on me, and I test all the products on me, because I was always very clear that I don't want to just start a brand for the sake of starting a brand. I wanted to start a brand that I would use. It's not like I'm saying, hey, let's buy hyphen and I'm sort of buying some foreign products. That's not the point. And also we wanted to make it affordable. So that was also something that I wanted to do. Coming from a simple middle class family, I understand that you don't want to spend so much from your pocket on skincare, even though you want the skincare, but you feel like this is unreasonable. So I think those were things that I always wanted to do.
So the days for acting and the evenings are entrepreneur.
Usually. When I have night shoot, it kind of switches and suddenly they're like, oh, she's up very early. But yeah.
Speaking of Instagram, I saw a reel in which Viola Davis said that acting has actually nothing to do with beauty. Acting is recreating another person. Beauty is about celebrity. Do you agree with that? Or in our ecosystem, is beauty an essential part of acting?
I mean, it depends on the character, honestly. Like, there are times when, for a character like Sifra, you might need the beauty because she is a perfectly made humanoid. So for that, it is, if someone would be making a perfect girl or whatever we would call it, how would it be? That was the idea. So maybe a character like that might need something. Or if the character in the film is someone who's really beautiful, or the guy is so hot that she's falling for him because of that. Those are things written in the script. But there are also times when you have to sort of, whether it is something like a Bareli Ki Barfi, or Mimi, to be putting on 15 kilos or whatever, that's also for the film. So that time it can't be about beauty. So I think it's more about the character. If the character is written beautiful or a certain way, then maybe. But other than that, it has nothing to do with beauty.
Yeah. Also on Instagram, you posted, I think recently, about Blue Butterfly Films looking for new voices and fresh writers, right?
You know what happened with me on that?
What?
I said fresh voices, I meant writers. I started getting
Audio
singers.
Vocal?
Yeah. I was like, oh shit, they took it literally. Then I had to delete that post and I had to change the caption and put it again.
That's so funny, but I'm sure there's people here who are aspiring writers and aspire to be in the business.
Yeah.
So can you talk a little bit about what is the process in your company of receiving projects, green lighting? What are you looking for?
See, this is actually something that me and my sister and another friend of mine, we were just talking, and it's like we're constantly looking for scripts and there's not much great content that at least I've come across, in the last 1 year. And it's tough. It's tough to find great content. So for me, I feel like coming from outside the industry, I also feel there might be so many talented minds who actually have the good stuff in their scripts, and it's probably just they're not there. They don't know how to reach out. Maybe
they don't have access.
Yeah, they don't have access.
Yeah.
So we just wanted to just put it out. We have an email account. I do have some people who are sort of reading and scanning those things constantly. There is coverage being made on those scripts. If any script is of interest, then it's marked and sort of put aside. So I sort of go through the stuff which is like already filtered and people have liked it, and then I kind of go through it. But I just feel it's a nice way of just giving access, like you said, to just people who probably might be way more talented but just don't know how to go about it.
So, guys, you heard her. She's looking for something.
Yeah, anyone who has not voices for now, great minds who can write.
So here's the other thing, Kriti, that I was sort of thinking about, because I was watching an interview of yours, and you were being asked about the sort of partner you would want, and you were kind of going through like, I want the value system, I want this, I want that. And I was just thinking, but here's a woman who's successful, smart, beautiful, financially independent. Where do you even find a guy who matches up to all that?
I don't know. Does the guy have to match up to all
Matlab,
that?
kuch to na?
I don't know. I don't think. I think we put too much pressure to on. I want this. What you want and what you need might also be different. I might feel like I want someone who's like this and who's like that, but what I might need actually might just be like simplistic things. Someone who's just real, who can make me laugh, who I have a connect with, who I can talk for hours, who respects me and my work. And I think those things are also way more important. So yeah, I don't think someone needs to match up to me, but to hold his own.
Yeah.
That is more important.
And to be secure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well,
That's very important.
That's what I was like, how many men
Yeah.
out there are as secure as that?
Yeah, I mean, if they're not secure, then obviously it doesn't work.
Not going to happen.
It doesn't work.
Yeah.
Obviously not.
Yeah.
I feel like you need to, that's why you need to be secure in yourself first. Hold your own, not match up to me. Yeah.
Speaking of security, actors also like to say that they're competing with themselves, right? That it's not about what's happening around.
I love how she said actors like to say.
They do. I mean, so many say, well, I'm competing with the person in the mirror, etc., right? But the truth is, it is a brutal business.
Yeah.
And and everybody is of a certain level, is great looking, is being styled. How do you, Kriti, kind of deal with what routinely happens, that somebody else gets a role that maybe you would have loved to do, or somebody else becomes sort of flavor of the month? How much do those things play into your mind space, and how do you handle it?
See, obviously, we all are humans. So to feel envy is very normal. When you want some film, and you feel like you could have done it so well, and it goes to someone else, of course you feel like, Arey yaar, I wish I had done it. But there are only so many actors, to be very honest, right now. There are many films that are being made, so you have to find your own opportunity. I kind of feel like every film also has its own destiny. At this point, I think there was a point where it used to bother me a lot more, and I was a little more restless. And maybe I was looking for a lot more validation, because I don't come from a film background. So for me to get that validation as an actor also was just a process. And I was always hungry to be known as a good actor. I think once Mimi happened, that sense of validation kind of happened on its own. Be it the national award or be it anything else. Somewhere there was a sense of calm after that, where I felt like, okay, now I don't have to prove myself to people. I think they kind of know that I can act well. What the idea is now, how do I take myself forward? Where do I go from here? What else can I do? How do I surprise myself and not be like, okay, ye to dekha hua hai. So I think as you grow, your goal becomes different every time. So for me right now, I'm in a slightly secure, calm space, I would say, where I'm not running after what next. Actually, after years, currently, there is no film that I've signed.
Really?
Yeah, because for me, I don't want to sign something till I love it. I think somebody, actually a friend of mine was, yesterday when I was talking to him, Mukesh Chabra, he said, yeah, I know, I can sense that for you now, it's not about liking a script, it's loving it. So tera like se love ho gaya hai, you know, and that transition has happened now, and I can sense it in your voice, because I was just not loving anything, and that's why I was like, no, I don't want to do something that my heart is not fully there in, you know. And honestly, in my career, it's not like I haven't done that before. I have. Sometimes you have voices telling you that you should do a certain kind of a film because it's a big film, you know, and everyone needs to balance it out. There has to be one Mimi, but there has to be some, you know, one big project, and it's okay if you don't have so much of a role, stuff like that. And you feel like, okay, maybe, you know, everyone does it, maybe I should. And then you kind of realize that maybe that's not your path, you know, maybe that doesn't work for you. So I feel like right now there's a sense of like, I don't want to do something that doesn't excite me. I want to be
Just to be seen.
Yeah, I want to be, yeah, just to be seen. I've been seen quite a lot, guys, in the last 2 years, I think. I've had like four releases in the last 2 years. This year itself, I've had 2 releases. So I'm not in a hurry. I'm actually wanting to get something that feels like, okay, this is kick-ass and I really want to do this. You know, or now, how do I take my journey forward? It takes me forward. I think you need to grow with
Into
every
that.
film. Yeah, with every film. You can't, otherwise you become monotonous. You're not excited as an actor because you're sleepwalking. You know, so I feel that excitement is what I'm looking for right now.
But this also.
I don't know what your question was. I have turned it into something else.
No, you answered it, because Kriti, this also requires a level of security, right? That I would just rather wait at home than sign some big project with a big hero, which seems simple enough, right? You're not carrying the load. Doesn't work, it doesn't work. It's all on him anyway. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know,
That's the easiest thing to do,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But you have to be at a level of security to say, no, I am now somebody who needs more than this.
Yeah.
And you're there.
Yeah, I feel like when you understand your own value, and I think it does come from a certain sense of validation and success. Of course, when you're feeling like, you know, things are not working or your films are not working, there's a sense of like, no, I need a hit.
Yeah.
You know, I need the film to work in the theaters. So that time your mind is somewhere else. You're doing films for a different reason, or you're signing stuff for maybe the wrong reason. So yeah, I think fortunately this year has started well. Where can I touch wood? Oh my God. Yeah. Fortunately, this year has started well, and maybe that also has given a sense of calm where I'm like, okay, fine, you know, these films have worked on the box office. I'm very happy and I'm very like glad and blessed. But now I think I can sort of sit at home, maybe find that film that excites me to go further.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well,
It's a combination of everything, you know, whether it's success, whether it's just validation in general as an actor. Actors are hungry for validation.
Of course.
Yeah. And right now, I feel like I'm hungry for something that challenges me. And, you know, I feel like I don't know how to do this, you know, and I like, you feel almost scared to do it. That's when it's like really exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, listen, I have to say that I hope Sifra comes back and kicks some ass.
I hope so too.
You know?
Yeah. Now that the audience has loved the film and loved her so much, I'm sure she will.
Yeah, yeah. And with that, guys, we'll open it up to the audience. And the first question, we've got the Appy Fizz contest winner, Sakshi Gaware. If you could please, there you are, please ask.
Hello.
Firstly, thanks a lot, Appy Fizz, for this wonderful, wonderful opportunity. Hi, Kriti, Sakshi, big
Hello.
fan. You look stunning.
Thank you.
So my question to you would be, if you could just maybe share with us a moment or a point of time in your career or your life that sort of added fizz to it and elevated it.
That added fizz to it. I think I have to say the National Award was the biggest moment for me. Added more than fizz.
Yes.
I think it added more than fizz. It was something that, you know, I'm sure like every actor dreams for, and like for me, it was something that I had written in my diary of dreams 2 years before it happened, and I couldn't believe that it actually happened. It was probably the only moment where when it got announced, I had happy tears in my eyes. I've never had that. I feel like I've not felt so emotional and so happy that I almost was crying. Um, and just to take my parents in Vigyan Bhavan and to see them, um, see me receive the award was like a huge moment. So I think that added all the fizz.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Wish you more and more success and a lot of
Thank
love.
you so much.
So guys, now if you just put up your hands and we can.
Hi, I just wanted to ask you a question.
Where are you
interested?
from?
Sorry?
Where are you from?
I'm from London. I'm a lawyer by
Sounded
profession.
like.
Yeah. So are you interested in a script on neuroscience and clinical trials?
Sorry, what?
I,
What?
Are you interested in a screenplay on neuroscience and clinical trials?
Yeah, what depends on what kind of screenplay. Are you a writer?
Yes, I'm a lawyer by profession, but I've written 2 screenplays.
Oh, wow, that would be interesting, of course, since there's so much happening around.
Yeah, and the question is, has there been instances where you've potentially looked at a pitch deck and you thought, oh, this is rubbish, but then the person's narrated something to you and you found it remarkable?
I don't think I've felt like this is rubbish. I felt like, this could be okay. I'm not sure. And when the person narrated the entire thing, the vision was much bigger than what I saw in the synopsis. So that happens sometimes, but the idea first needs to sort of strike something in you.
I'll send something across.
Sure.
Thanks.
What's your name?
Suraj Makwana.
Suraj. All right. Someone has got 2 hands like that.
okay, after this one, please give it to the person with 2 hands.
Oh,
I
he's
love
just feeling
that.
hot. He's just feeling hot.
Yes. Okay, please.
Hi Kriti, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine. Well, I'm a big fan of you,
Thank
and
you.
you really inspires us in many roles. Like previously, I've seen your many movies, but especially for Mimi. After Mimi, I've got a big fan of you. I've become a
Thank
big
you.
fan of you, and many congratulations for winning a national award.
Thank you so much.
So I just wanted to ask you, like about your journey from being a non-filmy film person to this stardom. How you feel at this peak of your stage, like if
That's
you
a very big
compare
question.
if you compare yourself when you were not into films and now at this stage.
When she was an engineer.
Yeah. I think I would, one thing that I would just say about this journey is that I feel there are very few people who find their passion, who recognize their passion.
Okay.
बहुत लोग ऐसे होते हैं जो जिनको लाइफ में पता ही नहीं चलता है कि उन्हें क्या करना अच्छा लगता है, you know. I'm really fortunate that I found my passion in acting because I was in that college doing BTech, a very, very studious kid who would just love to dance, and that's about it. And this sort of happened in my life in a way where I'm just so fortunate and glad that it did because I today feel like I was really, really meant to be here.
So do you believe in destiny?
I do. I do believe in destiny plus hard work because खाली किस्मत पे छोड़ देंगे तो कुछ नहीं होगा. But but I really feel like I used to tell my mom that बचपन में I didn't try so many things. Like sometimes you become so rigid in your ways. You become a little scared. Your mind always tells you कि नहीं ये करने की जरूरत नहीं है. ये क्यों try करना है? मत करो try. पर मुझे आज लगता है कि बचपन में ना सब कुछ ट्राई करके देखना चाहिए, चाहे वो एक्टिंग हो, चाहे वो हॉर्स राइडिंग है, चाहे वो कुकिंग है, चाहे वो पॉटरी है, कुछ भी, because I think till you try something you don't really know what you love doing, so you got to find it. So I think I'm really glad that somehow acting also found me in a way. It just happened to me also, and of course I recognized the opportunity and I followed that part. I followed my dreams. I had parents who were supportive. Not everyone also gets that support. So I was fortunate in many ways. But आज मैं देखती हूँ तो मुझे लगता है कि I was meant to be here. There's nothing else that I could have done probably.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Mr. Two Hands.
Hi, Kriti.
Hi.
First of all, I would really. Oh, sorry.
क्या
क्या हुआ?
क्या
Well,
हुआ?
I'm too excited. You can say that.
You can stand up if you want.
No, but these guys won't be able to see that.
Oh,
I guess.
okay.
Okay. So first of all, of course, you are very beautiful and you styled so well in each and every movie. I really love your clothes, the way you style all of your airport looks and everywhere. I stalk you. Trust me.
Okay then.
Okay.
Thank you.
So let's get back to the question. So my question is, apart from, is there something apart from luxury or fame as a celebrity that you still aspire to achieve?
I still aspire to achieve.
Apart from all the luxury and fame which you already have, I guess.
Uh, I think firstly, one non-materialistic thing I would say
Yeah.
is I always feel like I want to leave some sort of a legacy behind eventually, where even when I'm not in this world, people do remember me from my work. I think that is a big deal. Um, you know, when young girls sort of look up to you and they feel like if you could do it, so can they. I think that is a huge deal. So I hope I do that in my life. And materialistic, I would just say, my mother has always had this dream of हम हमारे घर में एक गार्डन है और हम उस गार्डन में बैठकर चाय पी रहे हैं. So I want to buy that घर जिसमें गार्डन है
Okay.
और जिसमें वो बैठकर चाय पी रही हैं. That is one of the things that's also there in my dream diary. So I hope that happens someday.
So in legacy case, I think you already made it. So
No
this
यार,
will still
कहाँ
remember
अभी
you.
बहुत मतलब
Yeah,
I'm
thank you
too-
so much.
It's just 10 years. 10 years में legacy नहीं बनती है.
Okay, Kriti, you pick the last one.
No, don't do this to me. They'll all hate me.
We haven't had. Okay. How about her standing with a book?
Yeah, she has
Yeah?
something in her hands.
Hi, my name is Janvi, and I made this card for you.
How sweet.
Can I come and give it to
Please
you?
come and give it.
Party में फिर जगा दे
How are you? That is so sweet. Nice to meet you. Can I open it? I can? Okay.
में फिर जगा दे
Losing control.
Do you want to read it? Is there a mic? Oh, she was not prepared for this, but it's okay. You'll read it.
In a world of glamour and lights, where dreams take flight in starry nights, from Dilwale to Hero Panti bold, your charm a tale untold. In Bareli ki barfi, sweetness blooms, as love transcends the sweet perfumes. Rapta weaves a tale of fate, where hearts intertwine despite the weight. Through Luka Chupi, laughter rings, as love dances on unseen strings. In every role, you leave a mark, a shining star in the cinematic arc.
How sweet. You've written this? That is beautiful. Thank you so much. Give me a hug. Thank you.
पार्टी में फिर जगा दे
That's so
So nice.
sweet. Yeah.
Achha, now
Okay.
everyone's got two hands up. Come on, Kriti, you pick.
I can't pick. I'm not doing this. You're doing it.
Sorry, where's the... there she is. She's standing, yeah.
हाय
Hello.
एवरीवन फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल कृति मैम मैं आपकी बहुत बड़ी फ़ैन हूँ और इतना प्रिविलेज मुझे फील हो रहा है आपके सामने और आपको क्वेश्चंस पूछने का. इट्स सो मच बिग थिंग फॉर मी.
How sweet. Thank you.
मेरा क्वेश्चन ये है मैम, अब तक आपने सारे मतलब रोल्स किए जैसे कि ये लव स्टोरीज, रोबोट, माइथोलॉजिकल स्टोरी, जैसे कि सीता माँ का रोल आपने किया है. तो मोस्ट चैलेंजिंग रोल आपका कौन सा रहा एक्सेप्ट मिमी? मुझे पता है आप उनका नाम लेंगे, बट बाकी और कोई रोल है जो एकदम चैलेंजिंग रहा, आपको बहुत टाइम लगा प्रिपेयर करने के लिए और आपके दिल के सबसे करीब हो?
I think वो फिल्म आई नहीं है दो पत्ती ऑनेस्टली. मैं बता नहीं सकती क्यों, लेकिन जब आप फिल्म देखेंगे तो आपको ये रियलाइज होगा.
काजोल मैम के
Um,
साथ?
हाँ, बट काजोल मैम चैलेंजिंग नहीं थी. She was really warm and she's always very lovely. And her being in any scene actually helps the scene. But that film in itself, what it deals with and the kind of character that I'm playing was extremely challenging for me. And I'm actually very excited for you guys to see that. उसका एक छोटा सा teaser already out है. But the film is much larger than that.
ओके थैंक वन मोर आपने ये प्रोड्यूसर आप बन चुकी हैं तो अभी डायरेक्शन की तरफ
It's
नहीं,
just a logical
मुझे कैमरा
next
के
step.
सामने ही रहना बहुत अच्छा लगता है एक्चुअली. I think I like acting more. So acting के अलावा producing is still something that I can do side by side and still act. Direction में घुस जाओ, directors actually I think their life is I mean there's too much pressure on a director firstly, and I think directors are married to one film for a year or
Years and
more,
years,
way
yes.
longer. I think we as actors we end up moving from one film to the other. Director doesn't end up moving from the film till it actually releases. So no plans of directing as of now at all.
ओके
Guys, thank you to Kriti and thank you to all of you for being such a great audience.